Hi everyone, welcome to the video on the science behind fermented foods. I'm Madhumitha, one of the founders of the company the Indus Valley. In this video, we'll understand the science behind fermentation and how fermented foods are very beneficial to us. Some examples of fermented foods are idli, curd, naan, and fermented rice, which is also called as paresoru or neeragaram. Now that we have good examples, let's define fermentation before we go ahead. Fermentation is a chemical process that microorganisms such as bacteria and yeast perform on complex chemical molecules in food, breaking them down into gas, alcohol, and acids. This gives it unique taste and preservative qualities. Let's dive in and understand fermentation and the science behind it. Let's understand what happens during fermentation. In this particular video, I will be using idli as an example throughout, but the same steps can be applied to any other form of fermented food. In the case of idli, all the sugars and starches, basically the carbohydrates in the batter, will be digested by the microorganisms such as bacteria and yeast, and it will break it down into lactic acid, acetic acid, and carbon dioxide. This in turn will give a unique flavor to the food and a good texture. This will also increase the time in which the food can use and act as a preservative. The very important factor to bear in mind is that it will also make the food very digestible and increase the absorption of certain vitamins and minerals, making it more beneficial for us. Let's deep dive into fermentation of idli batter. Idli batter is typically made from urad dal and rice, which is soaked for 6 hours and upwards and ground and mixed together. This will result in a lot of fermentation activity. The fermentation in idli batter will happen because of lactic acid bacteria and wild yeast. The lactic acid bacteria will eat the carbohydrates within the batter in order to release lactic acid. The wild yeast will eat the sugars and release alcohol and carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide results in a lot of air pockets within the idli batter, which causes the characteristic fluffiness of the idli. This is how the texture of the idli is changed thanks to fermentation. So where do these microbes come from? These microbes are naturally present in the air and during the soaking and grinding process get into the batter and start multiplying. Temperature is very important for ideal fermentation. A good temperature range is between 30 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius. If the temperature were lower, the bacteria cannot act on the batter very well and the fermentation will be delayed. If the temperature is very high, it is very harmful for the microorganisms and it may cause delayed fermentation. Ideal temperature is very essential for the perfect batter. There is a lot of benefit to eating fermented foods. Let's understand them one by one. First is improved digestion. Fermented foods are rich in probiotics. This means they have a lot of beneficial bacteria. This aids in improving digestion and absorption of nutrients, thus making us healthy. It helps to boost our immune system. What happens is that gut health is very important in order to maintain the overall health. There is a lot of beneficial bacteria that is present in fermented foods, which will help us fight against the bad bacteria and viruses that may enter the gut. It regulates the immune system. So it kind of controls the immune response, avoiding excessive response of the immune system, which may cause autoimmune disorders. It also can trigger an immune response in case of an infection. Another important benefit is that it helps to improve the gut barrier. The biomes and the good bacteria that is present in the fermented food will ensure that it will enrich our gut barrier. The gut barrier consists of thousands of good bacteria. They ensure that they will make the vitamins and minerals easily absorbed. They trigger immune responses and ensure the overall gut health for any human being. The other very important factor is nutrient absorption. If you take example of curd or kimchi, it ensures that we are able to absorb calcium, magnesium and vitamin K2 very easily into the body. It is again because of the beneficial bacteria that these fermented foods contribute to our gut. There are a lot of research which indicate that fermented food helps us improve our overall mental health. It is indicated that it causes an increase and uplifted mood, and it alleviates issues like anxiety and depression. Research is going on other benefits of fermented food. However, it is undeniable that it is definitely good for you. Prefer fermented foods wherever possible. Traditional Indian cuisine offers us a lot of fermented food as options such as idli, curd, dhokla and much more. If you look at the Eastern world as well, there are foods like kimchi which you can add to your table in order to improve the gut bacteria that you have. All the beneficial bacteria that we get from probiotic food will help us boost our immunity, regulate our immunity, improve our gut health and also improve how the vitamins and minerals are absorbed by our body. Overall, it's a definite win-win and the food has great flavor and new texture. Now that you know all the benefit of fermented food, I hope that you will dive deep into multiple options that is available for us on our palate. Thank you for coming to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video, share it with a friend who might find it useful, subscribe to the channel as we'll be giving out more videos on the science of cooking. Don't forget to check them out on our channel. Thank you.